3:26 p.m. according to the clock on the back of the wall, on the back wall. We're calling to order the October 7, 2021 Board of Adjustment meeting. Would you call the roll, please?
Chairman Tamayo.
I'm here.
Board Member Beaver.
Here.
Board Member Hilliard.
Here.
Board Member Rowe.
Here.
And Board Member Smith is absent, and alternate Board Member Immunity is absent.
Okay. We have minutes from our August 5, 2021 meeting, having not had a meeting in September. Asking the people on the board, have you had a chance to review those minutes? Are there any comments, questions, or motions pertaining to the minutes of the August 5 meeting?
No.
Okay.
I make a motion, we accept the minutes.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Hilliard, second by Mr. Beaver. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Good enough. So the minutes of August 5, 2021 are approved. We're going to now swear in all witnesses. And if anyone who's going to speak for, against, or just make any kind of comment whatsoever with respect to the item on the agenda today, which is a request for a variance at 4790 Magnolia Street, file PZ 2021-293. If you would stand, raise your right hand and be sworn.
You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
All right. Ms. Ward, if you would you give us the staff report with respect to the one item that's on our agenda today?
Good afternoon. Mr. Mike Skinner is requesting a variance for an on-premise sign on the property located at 4790 Magnolia Avenue. The property is on GCMD and therefore requires that the structural supports for such sign be set back not less than 10 feet from any property line or street right-of-way. No part of the sign shall overlay the street right-of-way. The applicant is requesting that the sign should be installed 5 feet from all three property lines at the corner of Magnolia and East Lucas Drive. Mr. Skinner ensures that the sign will not overlay into the street right of way. And let me grab a all that time I didn't pronounce it. Okay. So this is a map showing the location of the property at East Lucas and Magnolia. And this is the site plan showing the proposed location of the new sign. The black dot is the location of the new sign. Okay. Nope, that's not what I want either. Nope. There we go. Here's a picture of the subject property. As you can see, the canopy and the storefront, their location, and the 5 feet. I believe we'll put the sign just off onto the pavement there at the corner, close up of the corner, and that's all we have.
And go back to that last slide one more time.
Previous. This one?
This base that's in the grass there, that's the pre-existing base of a prior sign?
This thing right here,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
believe is the previous base, which would have been in the right of way.
Okay. And a base,
So
if it's put
a
in,
new sign would be back here somewhere.
okay, within that driveway, within the area that has a curb cut in it, right? Okay.
Hey, Dana, go back one more picture.
Yeah, it looks like the power lines are right there too.
Yeah. Well, that's across the backside.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, there are power lines.
Yeah, I'm like,
Mhm.
if you put it if you turn it
It'll arc. It'll arc.
If you
It
look at-
depends on the power lines. If they're
High
high,
voltage, low voltage.
what do you call it? The high current.
Yeah.
They tell us, they made them move the sign at the corner of Phelan and Major because Entergy showed up when they were getting ready to install that sign, and it was going to be 10 feet from the property line. And they said if it's within 20 feet of those high power lines, it'll arc.
Yeah, and if you look at where that awning is, you kinda look back at this picture, you know?
Yeah.
And you kinda look at where the black dot is in line with that awning, if you look, that's kinda hazardous anyway, because it's kinda hard for me to explain what I'm looking at in the picture, but if you look at the corner of the awning that we're seeing, and just kinda imagine that sign being just a little bit off of that post being there, and, the cars
Cars.
making the movement, in the parking lot coming along beside the pump.
I understand.
And the High Line, yeah, if Energy, Energy has that rule, I've heard that rule from Energy before.
It may be because the sign isn't tall enough, because those lines are pretty high up there.
Well,
I
the
don't
lower
know, that
line's
might
probably a communication line.
Right.
Yeah, or
The
cable.
power lines are the top ones. So
Yeah, that's what how tall does he want to go with the sign?
I don't
Does it say?
remember. I'm on.
Well,
I
the
honestly can't
second
uh,
one may be a,
8 feet. He's got an 8-foot sign.
Did she include the pictures of the sign? Yeah, they're in here.
Cars will run into that.
all right. Are there any other questions for Ms. Ward, or, Ms. Ward, is there any other report that you need to make?
The top of the sign is only 8 feet above the ground, so
Right.
it's a short sign.
Right. The top of the
On
sign.
this, but I don't think that's the one that we approved. Hold on.
Well,
That's
I
the
don't,
dimension in his package, is 8 foot.
8-foot sign.
yeah, the
That's
top,
the top.
the top
That's
is
what's
8 feet.
on here, but that's not what was approved for them. I
Well,
don't believe that's what was approved.
On that, it'll put it right there, so people will hit it. It'll get hit. It'll get knocked
all
over.
right, the way
trucks
that
will
this
run
is
into
written
it.
up in the elevation that's in the package we have is 5 feet plus 4'1" plus 3'11". So that's 9, 12, 13 feet to the top.
Now, that 5 foot is his foundation. That's in the ground.
Okay, so it's 13 feet to the top of the sign, and it's 3 feet 11 less than that. So 9 foot 1 inch to the bottom of the sign.
No, look right here.
That's what I'm looking at,
Right,
right
it's
there.
8 foot. He's 8 foot from the ground. That's it.
Yeah, because he shows.
Oh, okay, I
Yeah,
see.
he's
I see.
8
it's
foot
kinda
from
hard
the
to
Oh, that's grade. You're right, it's
Yeah,
grade.
it's 8 foot from the
So
ground.
it's 4 foot 1 plus 3 foot 11. You're right.
Yeah.
And the bottom of the sign is only 4 feet 1 inches off the ground.
That's kind of a
He's gonna
that's
Okay.
kind of a hazard.
All right.
That's a major
Visibility.
hazard.
Now,
just do your-
I'm sorry, I was looking at the base of the foundation. I was looking at the bottom of the core. All right, I'm sorry.
Can you please hold for a minute and let me see if I can find the actual application?
Don't worry
For the
about
permit?
it. We've seen what we need. Thank you.
Yeah.
I
Unless
don't
there's a
think that's
question
what was approved.
as to that. Okay. So, at this point, we would take testimony from anyone else in the room. Unfortunately, there are no other people in the room. So let the record reflect that the applicant has absented himself, and if there's anyone else that would represent the applicant, they are not here. Please let the record also reflect that we, in advance of calling this meeting to order, sitting as a group up here on my own initiative, and without convening the meeting, I directed Catherine Allen, our recording secretary, to scour the hallways, go outside and look in the parking lot and see if she could find an applicant. I asked Ms. Ward to do the same thing. She went out and did the same thing at about 20 to 25 minutes after the hour. And subsequent to that, recording secretary Catherine Allen called all of the telephone numbers that are listed on the application in an attempt to reach the applicant, Mike Skinner. And those telephone numbers included his cell phone and what's listed as a home phone. And she's not been able to locate him, and we've not had any contact or call back. So at this point, there being no other evidence to present and nobody to present it, I'm going to give our board an opportunity to convene, discuss, and see if we have a motion to make. So let's step back, gentlemen, and deliberate. What I gather from this is that the party that has the burden of proof has not put on any proof, and that therefore we have no evidence before us truly to support the statements that are required and the elements that are required for a variance to zoning. And even if we were to try to take this out on our own and use the application and admit the application as if it were evidence without testimony, which we may or may not do and probably shouldn't, the statement of the applicant in that application is simply repetition of the standard, where he was asked that the granting of the variance will not be contrary to the public interest, and to give us proof, he simply stated, the variance will not be contrary to the public interest. And where he was asked that the literal enforcement of the ordinance will not result in unnecessary hardship, he simply said that literal enforcement, the ordinance, will result in unnecessary hardship, as the owner will lose business if there's no prices for the gas. And when asked about to give us proof or some statement by which he intended to support a finding, if we were to make one, that by granting the variance, the spirit of the ordinance will be observed and substantial justice done, he simply said, we ask at the variance be granted. If you have any other comments than that, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm ready to make a motion.
All right. Jeff, you want to make it, or you want me to make it?
I will.
I'll second it.
I move that the request for variance be denied.
A second.
Okay. Would you call the roll for a vote, please, ma'am?
Chairman Tamaez,
I'm for the motion to deny the variance.
Board Member Beaver,
For the motion to deny.
Board Member Hilliard,
For the motion to deny.
and Board Member Rowe.
For the motion to deny.
By a vote of 4-0, the variance has been denied. Is there any further business to come before the board? And hearing none, I move adjournment. All right. I hear by acclamation we are adjourned. Thank you.